Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Clock Pod. I'm your host, Mark Wise, and alongside me is my co-host, Kobe Medlog. And before we get started, go ahead and go follow us on Twitter at _ Off the Clock Pod, where you can go ahead and interact with us and leave us questions, get them answered on the show. And let's get into the show. Guys, it's our first recorded episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. It's kind of fun. It's kind of neat. So I hope everybody enjoys. Kobe, what do you think about this?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, like we got eyes on it now.
Yeah, now we
eyes
gotta
on
actually
us.
perform. You
So-
gotta look good for these
Yeah.
people now. I can't show up all raggedy like I
know,
usually
man.
do. So, but yeah, now that finally we're recorded, now we're getting recorded. It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's get into this. So we've been having the college basketball tournament going on for the guys and the girls. Monday night was it Sunday night
Sunday, yeah.
was a women's college basketball championship with Iowa and LSU. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been in the headlines because of that game. And I know Kobe, he really wanted to say something about it. So Kobe, what you got to say?
Yeah. So first off, I want to congratulate both teams on an amazing season. Personally, me, I had South Carolina winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were undefeated though. I think they had lost or they had 37 wins, something like that. And then Caitlin Clark just goes full X Games mode.
Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of college basketball at all, but I just hear everybody talking about Caitlin Clark,
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, like she's nice with it.
I think she went off. I want to say it was in the final. No, the Elite Eight,
Mhm.
the Elite Eight game, and then they went up against South Carolina, and I mean she just kept going and going, and they beat South Carolina, who I think was everyone's favorite to win the tournament. She was dropping like 30 pieces, 40 pieces.
Yeah.
So I think once South Carolina lost, Iowa and Caitlin Clark, they became the instant favorites, and then she went viral for doing the John Cena, the "You Can't See Me"
Mhm.
during the games. So fast forward to Sunday, they ultimately what happened is 4 of Iowa's starters got into foul trouble early on in the second half, including Caitlin Clark. So they weren't. It's tough to play defense when you're about to foul out,
Yeah.
especially your starters. So I think it played an effect on them, and they ended up losing to LSU. So Angel Reese, who's a player on LSU,
Mhm.
gave the same
Right back to her.
right back to her, and LSU won the game, but everyone was just talking about the whole thing.
Yeah, I was watching that, and when I was looking at it at first, I was like, okay, now she's just trying to directly keep on doing it at her, because she was like, it seemed like she was falling around trying to do it, but I see a lot of people saying that they don't like that, but when Caitlin Clark was doing it, everybody loved it. Everybody
Yeah.
loved it. I don't care, man. When I was playing, I would talk crap to everybody. It didn't matter who you were. Sometimes I'm sad to say it, but even the refs, if they got between, some of the refs heard some things from me. But I don't mind the crap talking. I mean, like, I think that's a part of the game. I mean, if you see the girls, I don't really often see the girls doing it, but seeing this, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese doing it, I mean, I don't mind. I enjoy to watch that. I enjoy to see that. And if you hate Angel Reese doing it, then you should hate Caitlin Clark doing it. If you love Caitlin Clark doing it, you should love Angel Reese
Yeah.
doing it.
And so after the game, they went on, and Angel Reese made a point saying that people didn't like it, that they don't like her because of the image that she gives off. She
Mhm.
says people say that she's too hood, she's too ghetto. So she kind of sees why people kind of question her doing that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love this saying, and I think it goes in every sport. If you can't take the heat, then stay out the kitchen.
Yeah,
So
I agree, man. I agree. 'Cause,
I
I mean,
have no problem with it. I just hate that see, I feel like a lot of people are making it a race thing
Yeah.
society these days, but you know, that doesn't matter to me. If like I said, if you can't take the heat, stay out the kitchen. I'm happy to see that women's basketball, college basketball, is getting lots of they're getting a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
It's great for the game. It's great for them. So I mean, I loved it.
Yeah,
personally
I love
loved it.
seeing that. And plus, I'm looking at Angel Reese's stats. I mean, she was going off against Michigan. She went 25 and 24 with 6 blocks. Against Utah, 17 and 12, 3 blocks. I mean, she is a rebounding machine and can defend. I mean, I don't seeing how she was going throughout the whole tournament. I mean, she has a reason to talk
Yeah.
that crap. I mean, she backed it up.
She had a double in the championship game.
Yeah.
I think she had 15, 10, and 4.
15,
I wanna
10,
say.
5, 3, and 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, it's not like she's some bench player just kind of taunting
yeah.
like I mean,
We've seen that happen before.
brother of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know what I'm saying?
Thanasis? Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, she's proven her point out there. So I have no problem with her celebrating like that.
Yeah, and I mean, even to go to Caitlin's side, I mean, she was going off all tournament also, like we said. I mean,
Yeah.
right here against Colorado, 31, 3, and 8. Against Louisiana or Louisville, I mean, 41, 10, and 12. South Carolina, 41, 6, and 8. I mean, even against LSU, she dropped 32 and 8. So, I mean, Caitlin Clark, she didn't even seem to be bothered by it either.
Yeah.
I mean,
And she came out too, I think, and said like she enjoyed it.
yeah,
So-
it's part of the game.
Yeah.
If you dish it, you should be able to get it. I mean,
Yep.
that's how it should be. But I think people are just being too soft about it now,
Yeah. Definitely.
and they don't just enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. All right, this is fun. You know, people smack talking. People say that they miss that in the game, but whenever it happens,
They get butt.
yeah, she shouldn't be doing that. But then you're on Twitter the next week saying, how come everybody's so friendly now?
I need some excitement.
Yeah, there's nobody loved each other back then. LeBron hated or MJ hated everybody, and LeBron loves everybody now. I mean, come on, make up your mind, all right? Make up your mind. All right, and next we want to talk about the UConn versus San Diego State game. That was last night.
Yep.
And I heard it was a very great game. The last time these teams were there was whenever Kawhi and Kemba
were there. Yeah.
and Kemba ended up winning. And he was there too. Hey,
Yeah.
showing love for his team. I didn't see Kawhi there either.
No, I don't think Kawhi was there.
But Kawhi probably just stays inside out.
Kawhi's never out.
Yeah, no, you don't ever see him going
No.
out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody who followed the tournament, I don't think anybody predicted San Diego State to make it this far. As we know, they took down number 1 Alabama, who was a heavy favorite to win.
Yeah.
UConn, I don't personally. UConn's always gonna be. UConn's a basketball school,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not surprised to see them there. But then again, I don't think they were heavy favorites. I think a lot of people saw Houston, Alabama, Purdue, Texas. People were saying Texas.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun when you have those championship games that don't consist of the top 2.
Yeah, well, everybody thinks.
And don't get me wrong, people love to see that, but everyone loves a good underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
And San Diego State was that team this year. They didn't get the job done, but I mean, it was an amazing tournament for them.
And like we were talking about before we started, I mean, this was the first time no number 1 seed was in the Final Four.
No number 1 seeds.
And I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of college basketball because I don't know why. College sports is just not my thing. But I mean, that's still crazy to see, like, basically all the teams that nobody expected to be there were there.
And you know, just about every tournament, most of the heavy favorites they're called the Blue Bloods. and they're like your Duke, your North Carolina, your Kansas, your
Kentucky.
Kentucky. You know, those teams are always favorites going into every single season, and to kind of see the game steer away from that, it was fun. It's bittersweet to be real,
Yeah.
because you love to see these teams up and coming, or your surprise teams, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't feel the same without them. But I gotta say, I'm pretty content of how this tournament ended. Besides my bracket being busted.
Wasn't it broken the first day?
Well, like, so to me, busted's like when your champion loses.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think my bracket was doing pretty well up until my champion lost. So I had Houston winning the whole thing.
Okay.
I had Houston and Marquette. I was so high on Marquette, and Marquette lost in the second round. But I was like, I still got Houston. So I don't know where I was. I got home, and I just got a notification and it said, Alabama stunned by San Diego State. And I was like, what?
No.
And then I turned the TV on, and Houston was down by 17 with like 5 minutes left, and I was just like, no way, bro.
No way this is happening right
so,
now.
I mean, and then I'll admit, after Houston lost, I was like, hook 'em horns, let's go. And then that game too, oh my gosh, what a disappointment. They were up 13 late in the second half. I thought they had the game, so I turned the game off, and I went to go do something else. I looked back on my phone and it said that Miami won. I was just like,
nothing is going right.
No, yeah, so kind of after that, I was just like, I give up. So, but I mean,
Done pitching.
Again, I'm happy with UConn and San Diego State. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I should really start watching a whole lot more college sports. Everybody says
It's fun.
Yeah.
And because, most of your NBA, not most of your NBA, but you see a lot of ISO ball in the NBA nowadays. And when you look into the college, it's more of like, you see more plays where you see a lot of pick and roll, you see more defense. And these games I think there's a lot of defense. These games are low scoring. You go to an NBA game, you see teams put up 120 points.
Yeah.
This game right here, this championship game, 76-59. That's the score, like, almost at halftime for some of these NBA games. So it's fun.
And I think the college players, a lot of people tell me, is like they're actually competing because they're not there yet.
Exactly.
They haven't made it there yet. So
they're hungry.
These college players, whether it's basketball or baseball or like football, like they're trying a lot harder.
It's more of a system type of play than the NBA.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's pretty cool to see both, because if you see too much iso ball, you get tired. If you see too much system of it, you lose the excitement. So it's kind of good to see in both aspects.
Well, congrats to both UConn and LSU on their wins. Congratulations. Now, let's get into the NFL. We're getting into the new year. We're getting very close to the new season, how it's going to be. You're looking at a lot of these teams in the off season getting better, some getting worse, some doing nothing.
Yeah.
Not calling them out, but I think you know who. But who are the top 10 teams for next year? Kobe, who do you got?
All right. Number 10. There's absolutely no bias in my list, by the way.
No bias.
No bias.
Okay.
Number 10, I have Baltimore.
All right.
As we know, Lamar Jackson is kind of like the big question mark. But people forget he's on the team right now. He's not. There's no plans on him to hold out, although he has requested a trade.
Yeah.
He's not holding out. He's not a free agent. Like, he is on the team. So until there is a move made, he's our guy.
And you believe as long as he's there?
As long as he's there, yes. And yes, Lamar is a big question mark in my decision. But I think we have enough defensive wise to hold it down, especially in our division. I think that with hopeful signs of an Odell, if we get a good draft, if EDC goes in there and gets what we need to get, I can definitely. I mean, of course, sky's the limit. I see us personally being a wild card team this year. I think that's within reach. So I'm not too quick to count us out yet. So I have us right now for
I just want to say something about that real quick. You know, y'all didn't hear me talk a lot about one of my buddies, Jay. He's also a Ravens fan. So whenever we talk about the Ravens, I'm going to talk about Jay because, you know, me and him, I like to talk to him about it all the time. But he was telling me this weekend the Ravens could have been roster like top 5 all time.
Yeah.
All time.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I'm talking like Ravens fans get their hopes up like
so much.
And then it's
nothing happens.
Yeah,
like y'all could have had Bobby Wagner. Y'all had Zadarius Smith at one point.
We could have won a Super Bowl for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
But you know, things just don't. Not just they never go our way as far as acquisitions.
All right, go ahead with your.
So number 9, I have Minnesota. I feel like they're another team that's they're gonna be back in the playoffs. That division, I'm not quite sold on it being completely competitive. Mm-hmm. Now I know there's Chicago who's improved. I know there's Detroit who's improved, but I still feel like you have the best receiver in the game. You have a mid quarterback. Sorry, but he gets the job done.
Yeah,
he gets the job done.
He does what you need him to do.
So I still see them as contenders for next year. So I have them on my top 10. By the way, my top 10 is very AFC heavy. Spoiler. Number 8, I have Jacksonville. They showed, like we've talked about in episodes past, they showed tremendous improvement this past season, and I just see them getting better. They have Calvin Ridley coming back from suspension, so that's another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. And I mean, their run game is magnificent too.
Yeah, another year with Doug Peterson also.
Yeah, so
good.
I mean, I see them getting better. 7, I have the Chargers. I feel like it could have been switched between Jacksonville and Los Angeles, but I think the one thing that they don't have that LA does is experience. Experience as far as Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and your Austin Eckler. Like, I feel like that's going to play a big role. Number 6, I have Dallas.
Okay.
I have Dallas. Dallas is another team who they've really gone out. They've really gone out and they've gotten players. Now, the running back position to me is still kind of iffy. They do have Tony Pollard. They franchise tagged him. He's coming off of injury, and then they signed Ronald Jones, I think, to a 1 year deal. But that defense, magnificent.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely up there for me. Number 5, I have San Francisco. This team is just great.
Position.
Everywhere. The only spot that I'm concerned with is the quarterback position. Now, they're loaded with quarterbacks. They have Trey Lance and they have Brock Purdy.
They got Sam Darnold now.
Brock Purdy's coming off of injury. I don't think he'll miss too much time. They said, I think they said, I heard something like 6 months.
Yeah.
I want to say 6 months. But I feel like for that team, you don't need to. It's not going to revolve around just the quarterback because they have so many weapons. Um, they just need someone to.
You don't need a quarterback to win you a game, but you need a quarterback that won't lose you the game.
Right. As long as they have someone who can keep the ship sailing for the time being,
Yeah.
I think they'll definitely be okay. So number 4, I have Buffalo. Buffalo's Buffalo. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I love their defense. And again, their division is getting a lot more competitive too. But I just think those guys, they play well consistently, and they're a team with playoff experience. Despite the mishaps that happened this postseason, they do have experience, and that's going to come into play. Number 3, I have Philly. Philly had an amazing year. They've lost a couple of players. They've lost OC and DC. I think Jalen Hurts is going to keep on improving, and so will the entire team. It's their conference to lose. I don't see them really falling behind. I see them staying there, maybe getting even better, which that's good for me. Number 2, I have Cincinnati.
Okay.
As much as it pains me, I mean they're just so well rounded.
Yeah.
They're so well rounded, and again, other than Baltimore, I don't think the division is very. I really don't consider Cleveland a contender yet.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't figured it out with Deshaun. Kenny Pickett's still green to me. They had an okay season, but and then these guys go and they just ball out. They ball out against Kansas City, against the best teams. It doesn't matter. They're gonna go. They're gonna do their thing, and they'll win.
And plus, they added also Orlando Brown to
the
offensive line to protect.
And that's going to be a huge contribution for Joe Burrow. Joe
Yeah.
Burrow's going to have more pocket time, and then too the receivers that he has to throw to. It's
Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's not fun lining up against those guys twice a year.
But it must be fun throwing it to them.
Yeah, definitely. And number 1, I have Kansas City. I mean, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce,
Andy Reid too, like the best quarterback, best tight end, best coach.
Yeah, they just find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people who doubted them this past year because they lost Tyreek, and they were like, "Oh, this is going to be the downfall of the Chiefs," and as we saw, it was the complete opposite. These guys found a way. They had new players who stepped up, and they were big contributions, and they got it done. So, it's tough to beat a team like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I have my number 1 spot.
Tom Brady, this Chiefs team not Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team kind of reminds me of Tom Brady and some of the Patriots teams where it didn't matter what weapons you put around him.
Right.
He still made it work. Tom Brady had Gronk, his tight end. Pat Mahomes has Jason Kelce. It didn't matter what receivers you were putting around.
Bill Belichick would pick up an undrafted 7th rounder off the street, homeless person, and they will just go off.
Yeah.
And I guess you play better when you have good players to play around, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it is for Pat Mahomes, I believe. Isaiah Pacheco, McCall Hardman, like these guys.
Kadarius Toney, which everybody thought was nothing until he ended up going to the Chiefs.
So it's like how can you not see that these guys are clear cut?
Yeah.
This is the team. So that's my list.
All right, so we got someone from the same division in the top 10, but not the same team.
Okay.
My number 10 spot is the Detroit Lions.
Okay, I like that.
I like the Lions because they improved so much, and they've been improving season after season with Dan Campbell. Jared Goff is there. I mean, he's been great. He's been playing great for the Lions. They added to their running back positions. They added to their defense. They have a top 10 pick, which they might go defense. I really like the Detroit Lions, and I think they're improved to be a top 10 and win that division. With, I don't think the Vikings are gonna be all that. You know, so many close games. You could win so many. I mean, they were lucky that a lot of games went their way, but I don't think it's gonna be like that. If they keep on getting these close games, I don't think the Vikings are gonna be coming out with many wins next year. Got Jacksonville at 9. I like that team. I mean, like you said, they added uh, Calvin Ridley, another year with Doug Peterson and that quarterback Trevor Lawrence is just he's a great young talent. Number 8, a little biased, but I think it's going to happen. Is going to be the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I love all the additions that my Denver Broncos have made. Thank you, Sean Payton. Thank you to everybody that's there. You know, Russell Wilson finally gets the coach that he needs and that he wanted that's going to help him run the offense the right way. I think I got Denver at 8, man. I see him doing some
I
great
respect
things.
it.
I see it. At 7, I got the Dallas Cowboys. They added Brandon Cooks, but I don't like how they lost Dalton Schultz, and I don't think if they draft a tight end in the first half, or in the first round, I don't think that tight end is going to do as much as Dalton Schultz is, and I mean that defense is still really good though. I mean you got Michael Parsons who's changing his number to 0.
Yeah, I saw that.
He should stay at 11. 11 is such a nice number. I don't know why.
You know, I don't mean to get off topic, but these like single digit numbers for everybody is kind of just like throwing me off. I thought it was so cool to begin with, but now like I see corners wearing like number 2, and I'm just like, what? No. But now they added 0, so
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do 00 also.
I mean, might as well at this point.
Might as well. So I got Buffalo Bills at 6.
Okay.
All right. I still like their team, but I got Miami at 5. I think Miami will be better than Buffalo Bills. I love what Miami did with their defense, and I think if Tua just stays healthy this year, people forget how good they were with Tua on that team and the weapons that he has. Yes, he may not have all the arm strength ever, but I believe he still is really good with those weapons. And plus, on the defense, they added Jalen Ramsey also. I mean, you can't forget about Jalen. Number 4, I got Philly. Yeah, they have had some losses, but they're still really good. Philly is Philly. They're going to be the best team in their division and their conference, or in the race for it. At 3, I got the 49ers. I mean, just look at how many weapons they have on their team. Every position has like a top 10 player, it feels like. So besides that quarterback position, but like I was saying, I mean, that quarterback position, you just need someone who can throw the ball, make some completions. He doesn't have to do a lot. We saw that with Brock Purdy. We saw that with Jimmy Garoppolo too. They don't have to do a lot. Just be able to complete the passes, hand it off, and then you're solid after that. At 2 and 1 is the same. Since he's at 2, man. I mean, how great Joe Burrow is. Also, I don't think Zach Taylor gets a lot of credit that he sure does deserve. But I mean, that team is it's not better than KC. There's no other team that's better than KC with that quarterback, with that tight end, with the coach, with the running game. I mean, they showed why they're the best team in the Super Bowl. They were down and weren't doing anything at all in the first half. But then the second half comes around and they make some adjustments and then they make some moves, and every single possession was a score for them in that second half. Yeah. So this KC team, they're the best team until someone else does something, all right? And you know who I think really will throw them off?
Who's that?
My Broncos.
Okay, real quick. I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention Miami. I left them out of my list. They should be there. You reminded me. So people who don't come at me. That's what I'm saying. I forgot. So it won't happen again. But yeah, you brought up Miami, and I was just like, oh,
like
crap.
Forgot about Miami.
Yeah, Miami's definitely a top 10 team.
Yeah, those are our top 10 picks. I mean, y'all can go ahead argue with us on Twitter. Say who you think your top 10 picks are. I mean, you're probably not more accurate than mine. But just go ahead, just argue with us maybe. I like to see who y'all's top 10s are, whoever it is. But let's get on with some other news that was very interesting that came out just a few days ago. We've been talking about this player quite a bit since some of his incidents happened. We had him in our top 10 draft picks last week. It's Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter has reportedly not declined interviews. Has reportedly declined interviews from teams outside of the top 10. What do you think about that?
I mean, let me just go on and say, like, dude, you gotten in some trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, what? I'm not gonna deny the fact that you're an amazing player, but unfortunately, you got in some trouble, and these mock drafts coming out are showing that that's gonna have some impact on your draft stock. And we've seen people before who are gonna be top picks drop, sometimes even drop all the way out of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I feel like I would just be grateful for wherever I go, because it's going to be an opportunity to get into the league.
Yeah.
Just be grateful for wherever you go. There's people who are not getting the opportunity either, at all. There's people who will go, who declare for this draft, who won't get drafted, and some who may not get signed after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I would be taking opportunities. I would be taking them as much as I could.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, and then I feel like it's deeper than that. I feel like it shows a little bit of character. So if I was an executive, I would think like, okay, this guy is limiting himself to just within this range. What if when it comes to extension times for contracts, say 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you see how picky he is right now. How picky is he going to be with his money?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen some guys who've been like prima donnas when it comes to that. So I just think at this point, bro, I would be grateful. I would take every interview that I was asked for. So
Yeah.
what was that?
Yeah, because like you were saying, I mean, he has so many character issues already going on, and there's so many question marks around him. There's even people who have come out and said that they've dropped him from the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't see him. A lot of people have dropped him off their boards. A lot of like NFL executives have knocked him off their boards. And I mean, I can see why they would. I mean, the character issues that he has. Yes, he's a great player, but I mean, are those issues going to get solved quickly? Are they still going to be there? And then he's rejecting anybody out of the top 10. Yeah, that shows confidence that you think you'll be a top 10, but it kind of looks like you're just. It looks bad on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if you don't get drafted in the top 10, and then there's a team at like 13, 14 who was looking at you, asked for an interview, and you declined it. I mean, are they still going to want to have you? Maybe,
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the same as if you did take the interview. There's going to be some pushback towards you, some like maybe some looks at your way because of how you declined and didn't want to take an interview. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. You're gonna get paid. You're a first round draft pick. You're getting
gonna
paid.
get your guaranteed money.
Yeah, you're gonna get paid. Maybe not as high as the number 1 or number 2 or the top 5, but you're still gonna get paid. You're getting a chance to be in the NFL, and even at 15 or somewhere out there, that's like maybe a mid team that you're going to, and I mean it doesn't look good on him at all.
And I feel like the NFL is a business.
Yeah.
They don't have to put up with that stuff. You could be there one day and they'll replace you like that. So if you want to be stingy about, oh, I don't want to talk to these people, like, they'll find someone who wants to be there.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Hopefully it doesn't come back and bite him.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we've said this the whole time we've talked about it. Like, we hope he turns out to be a great player. We hope everything gets resolved. But I don't think he's doing anything to help himself.
No.
He's making it worse on himself than it is already. And it's not looking good. And this isn't college. This isn't high school. Like you said, this is a business. And if you aren't doing what the business wants you to do, sadly, sometimes you're gonna get kicked out.
Mhm.
And yes, I mean, no one wants to look at it as a business. They just want to look at it as somewhere where you can just go in and you're gonna do your own thing. But this is your job, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that at even like my job. I can't go in at Lowe's and do whatever I want. I can't say I don't want to pull this order. I don't want to do that. You have to go in. You have to be able to do what you got to do, and then you get paid what you're supposed to get paid.
And like I said, if you don't, then they'll just replace you. Simple
Yeah.
as that. And there's always someone up next. There's always someone in line. They're not gonna sit and mourn. Oh, like you're not doing this. Like,
And they're not gonna take care of you. Like, if a college team wanted you or a high school coach really liked you, how they're gonna be okay and let you do whatever you
Yeah,
want
no.
as long as you're happy. No, these NFL teams, these coaches, like if he goes to the Patriots somehow, Bill Belichick is gonna set him
he's not
straight.
gonna- yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go. Mike
That stuff-
Vrabel.
That stuff won't cut it.
No,
It's
they won't
not
cut it
gonna
in the
cut
NFL. And besides that news, again, like we always say, we hope I hope everything gets resolved. Hope everything is good. Hope he becomes a great player, because he has the skills, he has the talent, he has everything to become a great player. But we'll see how everything turns out. But the next news we want to get in, we talked about them. Kobe talked about them at their number 10 spot, and I said how the Baltimore Ravens could have been team would be amazing, probably number one, better than the Chiefs for sure. But there's been reports that Darius Slay was almost a Raven. He got offered. He said he was so close to signing also. And Odell Beckham, I think reports came out yesterday.
He got offered yesterday.
He got offered.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about your Ravens and what they're doing?
Oh, I'm tired of this. Like I said or we said earlier, our could have been team is it's disappointing. As far as the Darius Slay, I think he would have been a tremendous addition to our team, to our defense. I feel like personally, he signed too quick, because I believe he got released, and then he got released like early on in the day, and then later on in the day he had just signed. He signed back with Philadelphia. I do think that he would have been great in Baltimore. Definitely added some more depth into our secondary. Huge. And as far as OBJ, it's tricky because, as we know, he's coming back from injury.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he's going to be the same player.
His second ACL tear.
Right. Despite all that, I think signing him would be an upgrade. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about the receiving core. It's been very underwhelming. I mean, I feel bad because I think Bateman could. He shows that he can be that guy, but at the same time, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So it's hard to depend on him and call him the clear-cut number one. Like I said, despite Odell's injuries, I think Odell would come in and he'd be our guy.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like the whole Lamar issue is playing a big factor on Odell's decision. But like I said, Lamar's on the team. So if Baltimore gets to these meetings with Odell, I know Odell flew to Arizona to meet with the team during meetings.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need to sell they need to first off come to a decision. Are we gonna trade him, or are we gonna ride out with it for this season? Because I feel like the whole Lamar Jackson situation has been playing a big role in getting additions, not only on the offensive side but the defensive side too. If Lamar was extended by now, I think Darius Slay signs with the Ravens.
Yeah, and maybe even Odell also.
Yeah, I think Odell will be signed too. So I think it all comes back to that. It all comes back to Lamar. So yeah, but yeah, it seemed like Baltimore could have had this. Baltimore could have had that. Did you know that going into the off season, Baltimore was the favorite to sign Saquon Barkley?
Dang.
They were the favorite to sign Saquon Barkley. I mean, we do have J.K. Dobbins, and I love J.K. Dobbins.
But Saquon is just
Saquon. I mean,
beast.
personally, like I would take Saquon over J.K. And I love J.K. But I would take Saquon.
Yeah. He does everything.
Yeah, dude. Like this could have been team. Like it almost hurts because you just know like if we had this team, we'd be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be doing that. But that's not the case.
It doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
But I like Odell. I think the only other offer he has is from the Jets.
New York. I want to say there was 2 more teams, but I think he narrowed it down to Baltimore and New York.
And I think the only thing that's holding them back from both places are the quarterback situations, because you look at Green Bay and the Jets. I mean, they still haven't come down to came down to the negotiation. Yeah, what they're getting traded for.
I just wanna say, Odell, like we need you here. We don't like understand that the Jets have receivers
Already.
They have Garrett Wilson, they have Allen Lazard,
Corey Davis.
They have some depth. I mean, we need you.
Yeah.
We need you.
And plus, don't you think it'll be a little more fun playing with Lamar?
Big trust.
Big trust, man.
Big
That's
trust.
it. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. But I think that's the only reason why he's not there already. I mean,
Yeah.
it comes down to what is Lamar gonna do? Is he gonna get that contract and then still want to be traded, or is he gonna get the contract and still play, or is he not gonna get the contract at all and sit out? The last person we saw sit out was Le'Veon Bell, like that, and it didn't turn out well for Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, he kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And Lamar doesn't come off as the guy who would sit out. I see he's kind of gotten into it with people on social media because people called him out saying that after he got hurt against Denver in the season, I think it was Denver, that
Yeah, it was Denver.
people were saying that he was already holding out because he didn't want to risk getting hurt in hopes of not getting the big contract. And he, I have a love-hate thing when I see players go out there and defend themselves. He was out there saying that he truly wasn't ready to go out.
Yeah.
And he said even if I was 90%, I would have been out there. And we could have definitely used that. The Ravens, I believe they were winning the division. I want to say they lost it like around week 15 or 16, like late in the season, and then too when we were considered a wild card spot, I think we ended up getting the 7th spot because we ended up getting the 7th spot. We could have easily had the 6th spot, and it would have made a difference.
And if Lamar was still healthy, I would have been the 2nd seed, I believe.
2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
Third.
Or Cincy was.
Because there was that whole situation with
Cincy, Bills.
With Cincy, Buffalo, and Kansas.
Because of that game.
Yeah, because of that game. But if we keep winning with Lamar, that game
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. That game actually, it kind of screwed us out of a spot because if Kansas City would have lost that game, I think no, not Kansas City. If Cincinnati would have lost that game, we would have still been the division leader,
Yeah.
or we would have had a chance to still clinch the division. Now that game came down to, I don't know, and they didn't call it a tie. They
didn't count it.
Yeah. So ultimately, the result of that game prevented us from even
Having a chance. Yeah.
So
And so if Lamar's there in that playoff game also against the Bengals,
we win,
Yeah,
100%.
y'all win.
I'm telling you, we win that game. We haven't talked about it. Dude, that quarterback sneak.
he was supposed to go low, but he wanted to go high, wasn't it?
First off, why would you even quarterback sneak?
I think that was a good sneak.
They were down like at the 3-yard line.
It's not my
They
team.
were down at the 3-yard line.
It's not my team, bro.
No, I mean, we should have just pounded the ball in.
Have JK follow that big boy Patrick Ricard
Pat Ricard
right down the middle.
I have nightmares. I just see him reach over and then the ball just getting
Punched out.
and yeah, I don't want to talk about.
I was speechless after that game. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't believe what I was watching.
I think nobody even thought we were. And then too, I was telling Steven, so we played Cincinnati week 17, and we didn't even start Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
We started, what's the guy's name? Can't think of his name. But he's our third string. I just went blank right now.
I'm gonna find out who.
I was gonna say Anthony Richardson, but no, it wasn't him. Anthony Brown. I want to say it's Anthony Brown. Yeah. We started Anthony Brown, and we didn't play Snoop. We didn't play Tyler Huntley. A lot of our offensive guys were limited. Some defensive guys too, and I think that game was a 1 possession or a 2 possession game. Mind you, Cincy was playing their guys because they were still trying to get that first round bye. And so we went out there with our practice squad and lost by 2 possessions. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that doesn't look good on Cincy, and it looks real good on us. So I had that sense of hope. So when we were winning and we were tied in points of those games, I was like, okay, we can pull this off.
Yeah.
And I think we should have pulled it off. It was just unfortunate. I didn't like the play call, and that one play cost us the game. But
Very sad, very unfortunate.
yeah.
But that's what happens, And we just gotta wait till a few more weeks, see what happens with Lamar.
Yeah.
Maybe Lamar signs back and Odell decides, hey, let me go play with Lamar.
Please do.
And then you can't do anything about Darius Slay, but
No, but
you can just.
I'm hoping that we draft someone good here in the next coming weeks. I know
Y'all have a first round pick?
we have the 22nd pick. It's up in the air. It's either people say either receiver or corner. I think too it depends if we get Odell. If we get Odell prior to the draft, I would say we could wait on drafting a receiver until the 3rd round because we don't have a 2nd round pick. So we could wait till drafting a receiver in the 3rd round. We can go and get a corner with our first pick. People say corner or edge, but I think we could use a corner. So, yeah, we'll see what Baltimore does with that pick. But I'm expecting definitely a receiver or a corner.
All right. Is there anything else before we leave, Kobe, that you'd like to say to the people?
I just want to say, go check us out on Twitter and go DM us some takes or anything of that sort. We love to hear from y'all guys. So
Yep.
go check that out.
With that being said, guys, that's the end of our very first recorded episode. All right. Hope you all enjoyed it. This is very fun. This is very interesting. That we got a bunch of eyes on us. But make sure to go follow us on Twitter at _offtheclockpod. We can go ahead and interact with us and leave us questions, get them answered on our show. The show comes out every Thursday at 5 p.m. So you don't want to miss out. We got some big things planned. We're supposed to have something planned for today. It got pushed back, so maybe next week and the following week we got a few special guests maybe coming on. I don't want to.
Just stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. We got some people, some very interesting people coming on very soon. So go ahead, stay tuned, and peace out. All right, there we go.